Hello, everyone. I hope there's anybody listening to this thing. Welcome to the Architecture Weekly YouTube channel. My name is Vladimir Ivanov, and today I want to talk with you about the growth of software engineers and how to make impact on your job as a software engineer. So I prepared some slides today, so I will try to add them. So, okay, let's see the layout. Okay, that should be work. That should work. Not sure if why it ignores the slides, but okay. So today we're talking about like making impact as software engineers, and uh, please write in the leave a comment if you're here, if you enjoy the stream. So the problem that was striking me while I was doing the interviews or like working on my current job is that I frequently see people who are let's remove the slides for a while. I frequently see engineers that focused very much on the technical things. So they want to write code, they want to deploy to production, they want to learn new technologies and try them out, probably to add to their CVs. But then uh, but then when you actually need them to add you to make the business, to advance the business further, they are not interested in that. They're just like, hey, I want to write code, like leave me alone. And then the same people would tell you that, hey, I don't see a growth, I don't know how to grow in the company, so what I'm gonna do. So this is the problem that I want to talk with you about today, and this is why we have slides, we have a presentation, and hopefully we will have a nice discussion about that. So let's start. So recently I conducted a survey about the challenges in the day-to-day job of different engineers, and there are several dozens of people who actually give the answers, and you can see that a big part of them, like nearly half, is not really satisfied with the work that they're doing, with the role that they're in. And this is unfortunate. Like I truly believe that we need to be to enjoy the work that we're doing and find some purpose in this thing. Okay, so part of the reasons why people are not satisfied is actually that their struggle to make an impact. So they cannot change anything, so they actually want to grow, to have better positions with more power, so that they can have an impact actually and change the processes. So you can see, for example, an answer that the person has a lot of responsibilities and they overwork, but they don't have time and energy and so on to change the processes. So they want to grow to a bigger role, to a role with better authority to actually change the situation for themselves. And hopefully today we'll figure out what we should do to avoid those situations, or how to improve them. Okay, so the question is like, what are you doing at work? What is your attitude? Please write in the comments like what you think you're doing at work. What is your responsibility? Is it writing code? Is it like delivering new features? Is it fixing bugs or something else? Okay, and while we're waiting, let's continue the conversation. So actually I want to start this idea, this talk, from very distant picture. So if you think about the business, then always you will find two things. There will be a mission of the business, of the company, and there will be a goal. And to understand what's mission is something that you want to change the world. So this is some unreachable state of affairs that you advance. Okay, so this is your mission. So you can never reach them fully, but you can try to do that. Like for example, for boats, the mission is to build cities for people, not cars. And for Apple, mission is like think differently, do things differently. Okay, so this is something that they're trying to advance and what they believe in. Okay, so it's the mission. It's something that the company wants to change about the world, and they do something to advance it. Okay. At the same time, there's a goal thing, and goal for a commercial company is always to earn money. Okay. And those things like mission and goal are not contradictory. Actually, how it works is that money is the fuel to advance the mission. So in order to do something, to advance, to build better cities, right, you need to do something. You need to offer some services that can make cities a better place, but you need money for that, right? So you need to operate a business, and money is always a thing here in the business. I actually recommend a lot the book by Simon Sinek called The Infinite Game, where he speaks about the two types of games. That there are finite games. Well, when you play, for example, a single game of chess, and there are two players, there is a strict set of rules, and it's absolutely clear who wins. Okay. However, there are other games, like infinite games, when you continue playing chess through all of your life. And with this setup, the number of players is infinite. There is no like winning position, and the only winning you have is that you're continue playing. And those are infinite games. And actually, businesses are infinite games, right? So the number of players is infinite. Like you can track the competition somehow, but there's no like clear winner. There are somehow losers because you can go out of business, but still, those are infinite games. So in this paradigm, like the mission is like the game that you're playing, right? And the goal is like always to have some money to continue playing this game. Okay, good. So having said that, we need to figure out like how on a big scale the business work. And the business works with starts with value creation, right? So in order to have a business in the first place, in order to have customers, people who will pay for your services, you need to create some value for them, right? So like in case of Bolt, the value is that you basically go from point A to point B. So this is a value created. If you sell smartphones, then people literally purchase the goods, like the smartphones that they use to get some value for them. So the cycle is that you as a company, you create some value, then you distribute this good, and the customers purchase it. So then you capture the payouts, so you get some money from your customers, and then after like financial analysis and understanding like how the business is going, then you're making a decision to invest in manufacturing, and you create more goods or better goods or other services. And this is an infinite cycle. Okay, so we do something, we sell it, we get some money back, we analyze the situation, and we decide to create even more value. Okay, so that's very good. This is how a business function from a very high level perspective. If we drill down a little bit, then we will figure that actually in order to create this value, there's a process called a value stream. So imagine you want to manufacture, I don't know, a car. Then what you need to do is you need to get the parts, you need to get the tires, you need to get to assembly line, you need to go through this assembly line to put those parts in the appropriate places. And then in the end, you will have a ready car that you will ship it to your customer. Okay. In case of software, there's a value stream too. Okay, so for example, you're creating a mobile application, and then a product manager will come to you and say, "Hey, let's create a new feature. For example, let's add the Google Pay possibility to pay right in the app." Okay, and then that will be a step one, for example, and then you will try to design some docs to implement this feature. Then you will write some code, another step, and you will write some tests. Then you will build it and then deploy to production, right? So the feature is live and your customers are using it. So this is a value stream as well, right? So there are processes there are steps in the process that you need to take in order to create some value. So this is how value is created. That's why it is called value stream. Right. So yeah, this is like the business from high level. So in order to create value and to get the payouts from the customers, you need to create some products. And in the case of software companies, you need to have some engineering. You need people who will create it, who will write code, who will ship it. And then you need to gather the payments from the companies. And then what's hidden, what we haven't talked about it, is that you actually need to pay the taxes and you need to report the payments. So this is part of the business as well. So there is not a single business on the planet Earth who doesn't pay taxes. Like, many of them want to avoid and minimize it as much as possible, but everybody is paying taxes. Like, this is how it functions. So what they figured so far is that, like, the business goal is always to make money, right? Like this year or next year, this quarter or next quarter. But actually, in the process, there are all sorts of trouble. So we need to design the products, we need to pay taxes, we need to do everything to keep the business running. Okay. And the next question, and like the examples of such a business problems is that business is not isolated, right? It's operating in the market. And in the market, you have competition, you have market situation, which will be affected by, I don't know, wars, macroeconomics factors, epidemics, and so on. So, so the business will face problems. For example, like market share will be reducing because competition is doing very well, and the revenue growth will decline. Or there will be a new legislation that will force you to do something new, like issue new type of documents according to new legislation. So you will face problems, and somebody should solve those problems, okay? And if you analyze the problems, for example, if the market share is reducing, then if you analyze it and try to figure out what's the reason why market share is reducing, then probably you're shipping the products with a slow pace to the market. So basically, your competitors are outpacing you. So time to market is long. Or if the revenue growth is declining, then probably the reason is that products have poor quality, so people prefer better products. Or if authorities require the documents, then we're lacking a reporting system, so somebody should create it. So yeah. Having said that, if we're speaking about software companies, then there are two different types. There are product companies that create software products. I don't know, the ones like I'm using StreamYard for this stream. So StreamYard is a product company. They created a product for live streaming, right? And in contrary, there are service or consulting companies that are not selling any products by themselves, but offer you like software creation services. That's the service label. So if we try to understand how both of those operate, then we will figure that service companies like EPAM or Accenture or other examples, they're not creating software by themselves, or they're not selling the product. They're selling the time of their developers. Okay, so they create the solutions for clients, and like they either sell the project, so they promise to create some software as a project with a fixed cost, with the appropriate set of requirements, or they just give the developers. So it's outstaffing basically. So they provide the developers, so you're not hiring the developers on your own, you're just lending them from the service companies. So there are basically like two models, like time and material. So you're paying for the time of the developers, or there's a fixed cost when you pay for the solution and the service company should create it for you. We will get back to it. I just want you to have this understanding of the difference between service companies and product companies. Product companies like StreamYard or like Bolt, you as an engineer, you're building the product, okay? And in the service companies, you're the product. You're the thing that is sold, like your time is sold to other company, okay? So this is an important distinction that will affect like our understanding how to make the impact. Okay, so let's take a closer look at the value creation at the software company. So the typical cycle is that you will spot some customer pain. Okay, so for example, they're not able to pay for your services, or they're lacking some functionality. So you will gather as a team, you will brainstorm how to solve the problem. You will make a plan, you will write some code, try to ship it. Then you will design some docs, and the feature will be in production, and it will affect your customers. Okay, so the customers will behave differently, and through that, for example, they will start paying more. So this is the value that is generated, right? So your income as a company is growing, or like revenue is growing at least. So this is great, and you see how it resembles the picture that was in the beginning, where we have this value creation, then customer affection, and so on and so on. So this is like a product development cycle. This is like a business in a miniature. So actually, if we go back to this question that I was asking like 10 minutes ago, what are you doing at work? And it's not actually writing code, okay? It's not writing design docs. It's not fixing bugs. What I actually do at work, you actually solve business problems, okay? This is what you do as engineers. And even if it looks like you're writing codes, you're actually doing a bigger thing. And if you don't recognize it, then that's probably the problem that you're facing when you're trying to grow. Okay, so let's remember that every person in the business is actually solving some problems. Otherwise, you won't be paid. So the key to the growth is actually solving problems, because business will naturally promote people who are solving its problems, who are helping to increase the market share, who is helping to increase the revenue, and so on and so on. So if you solve the problems for the business, then you're doing some good, and then you're growing. Okay, so this is a very natural thing. So basically, how as engineers we can solve the business problems. So let's take an example of time to market, right? So we see that we ship our products, and this time is very long, like several months. What we want to do is, we as an engineers, we can take a look at the whole value stream process, and let's say automate the longest stage. For example, we will figure that like the tests undertake a couple of weeks. This is a live example. I was working for a project where it happened. What would you do? You will introduce automated tests, right? So this is a engineering solution to the business problem, to this time to market and reducing market share. Or if it's like have pure quality, well, let's improve the quality assurance with automated tests, with static code analysis, with something else. Or if you have this new requirement of the legislation that the new document is required and you need to generate it in mass, then let's design a new system. Okay, so this is actually an engineering solution to a business problem. Okay, let's talk about an example of this solution. So recently, like many European countries, were introducing the new legislation on how you need to issue the invoices for the services that you're providing, for ride-hailing services, for example. And what they are saying is that, hey, if you fail to provide a compliant invoice, we will fine you 400 euro per invoice. And this is huge, because like average trip is like what, 10 euro, and if you need to pay 400 euro for a trip that you'd better not conduct it in the first place. So the business problem is that you need to create a system that will avoid you this fine. Okay, so it's much cheaper to create a solution to this than paying fines. This is like the logic of business, and this is pretty natural. Okay, so what you would do as an engineer? So you would analyze the requirements for the invoice. So you would look at the legislation together with the product manager, of course. Then you will design a software system that will generate those invoices, okay, and make sure that they're compliant with the legislation in the first place. Then you launch it and monitor it, okay? So this is your engineering role. But actually, like, your role is not to design the system, but actually solve a business problem of being compliant to have the business in the first place. Okay, and yeah, if you fail to do that, like as a company, if you're issuing 1 million invoices monthly, then you're subject to $400 million of fines, and that's a disaster. Okay, nobody wants that. Okay, so basically, at this point, we understood the engineers making the impact, right? So they helped to solve business problems, and of course, depending on your title, there will be a different area of responsibility. So for the junior developer, you probably don't expect much. So if they can handle a class or maybe a package of several classes, that's great. Then a middle engineer will probably be responsible for part of the component or the whole component, um, like a single relatively simple service that would do something, I don't know, PDF generation. uh, from a senior engineer, you would expect a bigger responsibility. So that will be a whole complex component, for example, which has a lot of integrations with other components. So it's speaking to other services and you need to synchronize and so on and so on. And then the staff engineer would own an entire solution or a group of components. Okay, so you see how the complexity increases. So the title increases, the responsibility widens, and the complexity grows. So yeah. So basically, staff engineers, if we're talking about growing from middle and seniors to staff engineers, so they would probably design and own the end-to-end solutions to business problems. So again, we have a new legislation. We need an entire new system of issuing those invoices. So the staff engineer or like a decent senior engineer would say, hey, what we need to do is we actually need to introduce some new data on the client, like on the web or mobile client. Then we need to make the changes to the API gateway. Then some changes to the compute layer, probably a couple of new services. Then a new database or a new table in existing database on the data storage level. And actually, we also have data warehouse where we need to store the information about those invoices for subsequent financial analysis. So you see how this business knowledge actually gives you the idea how to solve it using the technology. So again, you're not just writing code, you're actually solving a business problem with the design system or with some technical solutions. Right. And of course, as a very natural consequence, the compensation will be linked to the business impact. So the juniors will earn less, the senior engineers will earn more. Unfortunately, the compensation doesn't grow as fast as the area of responsibility, right? But it still grows significantly. It's like several decades or several, how do you say it? Several dozens of percent of difference. So yeah, basically, if you want to grow, if you want to raise your compensation level, it's like the key is the area of responsibility. The key is the business impact. The key is how big of a business problem you're able to solve with technology, and the compensation comes after that. And like you can trust me because I am working as a senior engineering manager at Bolt. I literally see it every day. Okay. So, what are opportunities, right? So, again, engineers always look at the technology and code and tools, but the key to growth is to look at all of this as a business opportunity. And the business language is okay. So, what do we need as a business? We need to grow revenue, or we want to reduce cost because like saved cost is earned cost, okay? Or we want to protect revenue because compliance and authorities and so on. Or we want to build new products, so those strategic investments, okay? So adopt this language. Try to understand like what business is talking about and speak the same language with them. So that's kind of a cornerstone to promotion and to do a better job actually. Okay, so then you can ask, okay, how do I understand what the impact I'm doing? This is relatively easy. Okay, so talk to your product manager, and if you're doing, for example, a cost-saving project, then you can just go and see how your new solution will affect the cost. So if you go and do some cost optimization, for example, you're introducing a cold storage for your data, and previously you were, for example, we're paying like 50 cents per gigabyte or per terabyte of data, and then you would pay 5 cents per terabyte of data, and then you would probably save, I don't know, $50,000 a year. And if you're just doing this as a project of 2 weeks, which will cost to your employer like, I don't know, $10,000, then $40,000 is saved. So this is your financial impact with a single project. Or if you look at the growth projects, like new features or a new product, then you try to understand the potential revenue. And this is where product managers will help you a lot to understand it. Or if you're looking at the compliance project, then you can look at the amount of fines that you're avoiding. This is business impact as well, to a certain extent. Okay, this is how you do the understanding of this impact calculations. Okay, I hope that we figured how we as engineers are making those impacts, right? So we're bringing engineer solutions to the business problems. Let me know in the comments if you actually understand this, or if you have any questions. Let's try to answer them. I will be happy to do that. I don't see any comments so far, but that's fine. So yeah, let's go ahead. So how to make this impact? There are like 4 pillars how you do that. So first of all, you need the technical skills and experience. So again, the business is not paying you for your technical skills. It is paying you for solving the business problems. But as engineers, it's pretty much impossible to solve the problems with technology without technical skills and experience. So this is kind of obvious thing. You need to learn this. Second thing, not so obvious, is actually you need to provide some leadership and influence, right? So from a staff engineer, you would expect that the people can lead, so they can explain their solutions, they can explain the reasoning why we're doing things in one way and not another, and so on. Third pillar is, of course, problem solving and innovation. So you need to think about how to solve the problem and try to think about it in some new innovative way. And of course, the last but not the least is the communication and advocacy. So you will be having a very hard time if you can design a solution and not convince anybody that this is the right one. Okay, if you're not able to have an appropriate dialogue about the solution, you will just fail. Like that's guaranteed. Like people won't buy the solution in the first place, and you won't be actually bring the impact that you want. So, okay, let's take a closer look. So what technical skills, what big areas of the technical skills you're actually requiring? So of course, first one, system design tactics and practices. So how to build the solutions in the first place, like what are your building blocks? What are the tactics that you apply to performance and security tactics, and so on and so on. Second thing is like the majority of the solutions are running in the cloud. So knowing cloud to a certain extent is always useful to understand how the virtualization work, what are the different compute options you have, what is the difference between like container service and managed Kubernetes cluster, what is the difference of both of those with Lambda, and so on and so on. Next one is data storages. This is like kind of obvious. You need to know where you store different types of data and not storing everything just in Postgres. It's a great database, but probably if you're storing time series database, like InfluxDB can be better, ClickHouse can be better. So yeah, data streaming, observability is an absolute must. So you're just not able to operate the service properly without observability. So if it fails or if something goes down, you need to know about it. You need to be able to figure out what's actually happening and to remediate it and avoid it in the subsequent rounds. So yeah, observability is a must. Other pillars, other technical skills that might be useful depending on the industry and on the project is data engineering, machine learning, web technologies, mobile technologies, a little bit less, but like we're living in a mobile world. So some understanding of mobile technologies is worth as well. But don't rush to learn everything of this, okay? So learn something that is actually useful at your current place or in the future place that you want to be working for, okay? Good. Another aspect is leadership and influence. Like I already touched on this, but one of the expectations from a senior engineer is to produce more senior engineers. So that means that you're not only writing code, you actually teach other people how to write efficient code and how to solve like problems with the technology. So we need more problem solvers, right? So probably on the performance reviews, you would see this team play and collaboration things estimated for you, like how you live together with other people, how you help them, and so on and so on. So yeah, basically mentoring the uplifting engineers and one of the expectations from the higher engineers. So this is first thing. Second thing is that you're pursuing coworkers on technical solutions. So again, you're not just saying like, hey, this is how we do it. You actually pursue them. You explain like, hey, those are different possibilities. Those are pros and cons. And those pros are the most important for us because this is our business problem, right? So this is why we're picking up this solution and not the other one. So this is why we're picking a relational database and not NoSQL, and so on and so on. And yeah, you need to build a reputation inside the company because the promotions work in a manner that that people will approve your promotion. Okay, so if one manager is willing to promote his or her engineer, then other people will take a look at the case. And if they know you and if they know what the problems you solved already, they will be more keen to approve the promotion. Okay, so yeah, leadership and influence is like a key set of skills there. Okay, next one is problem solving. This is kind of natural, but drilling down into different things, you need to have these multifaceted challenges and being able to tackle them. So the technical solutions are not always straightforward. You need to account for different viewpoints. You need to know how to understand the stakeholders and how to satisfy their requirements. So it's pretty much challenging. So then you need to employ the analysis and system thinking. So thinking about the whole thing as a whole and optimize the whole thing and not focusing on just single thing that you find as a very very important for you, but actually you need to have the whole picture in mind. Then of course you need to have this technology proficiency. We already covered that. You need technical skills and so on, and you need to know what is the risk management. Okay, so when you suggest a solution, there's always some trade-off and there's always a set of risks that can materialize. An example that I want to make is that 7 years ago, I was working for Inditex. This is a Massimo Dutti, Zara, Bershka, and other brands. And I was suggesting to use MongoDB as a database of choice for our project. And one of the things that I was doing while suggesting it is like, hey, the risk is that MongoDB won't be a suitable database, and we will just discover it in half a year. So this is what we're gonna do to mitigate this risk. We're gonna plan it for migrations, so and use the data schemes and so on. So if it's required, then we will be able to easily migrate it. Okay, and yeah, the migration eventually was required. Okay, I will make a short pause here because we have a comment. So Andrei is saying technical skills are really important, but I think more influence and solve business problems you can do if you grow like a professional in the current business domain. What do you think about that? This is a great comment, Andrei. Thank you very much for this. So yeah, actually the problem is that what companies is hiring for is like React developer or Java developer. And we should probably be hiring fintech developers or I don't know, social media developers. So people with experience in business. And yesterday I was having an interview with Dylan Beatty, and his analogy was great. So imagine you want to record the whole repertoire of Led Zeppelin, let's say, with a new instrument, with a banjo. Okay, what do you do? So you have two options. You either have you either search for a professional with a banjo who knows the banjo very well, and then let them learn the Led Zeppelin repertoire, and it's like, I don't know, 150 songs, and then they will learn the first song, okay, and then they will learn the second, will learn the third. But when they get to the song number 100, it's the same complexity because the songs are different, okay? So they need to learn every new beat with the same pace. But with the second approach, if you have some musician who knows the entire repertoire of Led Zeppelin, knows all the songs, and then they need to do that on banjo, then they will need to learn only banjo, okay? And they will struggle because banjo is hard on song number 1, and probably at song number 10 they will struggle as well. But then at the song number 20, they will be proficient in banjo enough to have easy time for the rest of 100 songs. So yeah, this is the same problem, right? So let's hire the developers who are proficient in the domain. For example, here at Boltz, for the commerce department, we're actually looking for people with fintech experience, who knows how payments work, who know invoicing, or who know like other financial stuff, who know the reporting and compliance in this regard. And then we can teach them Node.js or JavaScript. The only thing we require is that you are able to write code in whatever language you want. But then we will require you to write TypeScript, but that's a much less a problem than learning the entire domain. So yeah, Andrei, I agree a lot that like it's easier to grow as a professional if you stick to the business domain and you know it very well, because technical skills are actually easier to master than the entire business or a domain. Okay, very good. Let's go further. So next thing is communication and advocacy. So you can imagine that a developer will be doing something about their team or several teams. Sorry, if it's a staff engineer working with an entire domain. But what is expected from a senior or staff engineer is that they first of all letting people know what's happening inside the domain. Okay, so what are the new projects, what are the changes to the platform, and so on and so on, and they actually bring new solution that will benefit the whole group of people or the entire company. So for example, you're developing a new library, and then you're doing this, and then you're letting people know, hey, there's a new solution, please use it. Or you bring some new piece of technology, like you're introducing Kafka to the company, and then you let people know that, hey, we have a new tool, this is where it fits very well, this is where it doesn't fit, this is how you use it, and so on and so on. And if you can do this in a manner that you actually recognize people's problems and not just pushing the solutions, again, remember that it's solving business problems, then you will be a successful developer. Of course, you need to be opinionated to a certain extent. It means that you need to have like strong opinions about some of the things, like for example, that CI/CD is a must, or that we need to put the quality right into the code, and so on. But then you need to be flexible and able to hear other people. And of course, the last point is to write documents. Like if you have every piece of your knowledge in your head, that's not very useful. But if you express it in the documents, then that's the entire company that can benefit from it and have like a higher business impact. Okay, so this is almost it for today. What I would like you to do, so in order for this webinar is not to be forgotten, like literally tomorrow, I would like you to do some home task. And the home task is to first look at your company, figure out what are your company goals for the current financial year, okay, according to mission, goals, and revenue. So maybe you're expected to grow 30% next year or this year, or maybe you want to cut costs, or maybe you want to expand to 10 new markets. Figure this out, okay? Speak with your colleagues, speak with your product manager, speak with your engineering manager, okay? And then find out how your particular project is actually contributing this goal. Find out how your project is making impact, okay? And try to estimate it, like according to this cost reduction or revenue growth or compliance, okay? And describe, then the next step, when you understand this, try to describe the 3 steps that you can take either with this project or with another project that would actually bring you to this goal. Okay, so do this homework that will allow you to understand like the business better. And then what I can promise you is that you will be able to have a very fruitful conversation with your engineering manager. So you will be able to say, hey, this is like how our project is helping the overall company goal. This is the estimated business impact. Like, I'm happy that we're building it. And this is the 3 steps I think we should take in order to ensure our success. Okay, and then you can have a conversation about like your future growth and like the new opportunities that your engineering manager can give you. Okay, so please do this home task just for your own sake. If you want, you can show me, like send me in this Telegram or write the comments. I will contact with you. So yeah, please do for your own sake. Okay, and the last thing that I want to tell you today is actually I truly believe that we need to grow as an engineers, okay, and bring better impact to businesses and advance the missions of our companies. Okay, that's why I'm working for Bolt, because it's the mission really resonates with me. I really love the cities that are convenient for people. Okay, that's why I'm working here. So I actually think that part of those problems, part of those pillars that I showed you how to make the impact, you can actually learn how to do this. And for the technical proficiency, I created the whole course. Okay, so this is a business-oriented system design. So this thing is focusing on the technical, and not only technical actually, skills that will be able to help you to solve the business problems. Okay, so what this course is doing is it's teaching you how to, first of all, how to gather and prioritize the requirements. Because if you don't understand the business requirements and what's the problem we're actually solving, basically why we're doing a project, then you cannot provide a proper solution. So this course is teaching you how the types of requirements, how to gather them, where to find them, and how to prioritize them. Okay, how to pick up the most important ones. Then typically you will figure out that like every project, literally everyone, will have the requirements about the performance, availability, security, and reliability. Okay, we will, like across several lectures, we will figure out how to satisfy those requirements, like what the components in the cloud exist to do that. What are the tactics? Like, for example, for performance, we're gonna figure the cache strategies or rate limiting capabilities, and so on and so on. Then, after learning the different tactics, we will figure out how to make architecture decisions, basically how you decide what to apply, how to solve a technical problem. And then we will learn how to document software architecture, basically providing some views, satisfying the viewpoints of the stakeholders, and how to communicate basically our solutions to other people. Then we will figure how to calculate storage, network bandwidth, and compute. And as a last point, how to have observability in our systems, because this is a cornerstone. You cannot do a modern system without observability. Yeah. So yeah, this is the course. There's a link in the description down below the video. If you're interested, like just go through the description. There are many details. There's actually feedback from the cohort number 1 that is finishing the course. There are some good feedbacks from the engineering managers of engineers that are passing this course, saying like, hey, the person really improved their skills of designing the systems and documenting those designs. So looks like it's proving it's working. So that's bringing the value. So if you like the course, let me know. Like you see the handle right here. So this is a handle in Twitter and in Telegram. Don't hesitate to drop me an email if you're interested in participating in cohort number 2 or participating in any other cohort that is going later, because cohort number 2 is starting already next Friday. Okay, good. We have another comment. So Andrei is asking, should the company pay you if you want to share the knowledge and make some lectures or some technical speech? And how to tell the boss about this more polite? This is a problem that I didn't solve actually myself. So my attitude is the following. If it's like a single talk, like 45 minutes to hour talk, then just do it, because it will benefit your growth Okay, so it will be something to put on the performance review and to help you get a promotion or just salary increase. Okay, if it's something much bigger, for example, the system design course, I don't know how to politely pitch it to the people. So the solution that I found, I decided that I will share the link to this webinar talking about like business impact and so on, where at the end I am advertising the course. So if people are willing to participate in the course, they're free to use their learning budget or ask for a compensation from the company. So I'm not pitching this directly because it's like looks strange and weird. So this is the it's not a hack, but a workaround, okay, to this particular problem. So yeah, Andrea, I feel you a lot. Okay, so I don't see any more comments, no questions. Let's take a look if anybody is writing me. Okay. If there are no more comments, then thank you very much. I hope you find this thing useful. So please leave a like and share it with your colleagues. Probably they will find this useful as well. Thank you. Have a good evening, and please grow as engineers. Thanks for the speech. Thank you very much for listening. See you later. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel because I post the content literally every week. So I hope it is interesting. Thank you very much. See you later. Bye bye.